everyone. Good afternoon. Here on the East Coast, it appears my animation has stopped on my live stream intro card, but I guess I'll deal with that later. Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? I hope you're all having a great Thursday. It is time to talk about organizing and catch up on a few things. So, oh my gosh, it's 6 o'clock where you are, Shmoo. Well, then, happy evening. Happy evening. I hope you're having a great evening. Let me just turn the music down while I say hello to everyone in the chat. Hello. Wait, let me go back up to the top here. Rocio, hello. Michelle, hello. Poofy, hello. Erica, hello. Paint Pal Sue, hello. Mekina, oh my gosh, I probably murdered that name. Mekinia, hello. Shmoo, hello. Oh, there's me, hello. Hello, me. The Little Blue Cottage, hello. TMD, hello. Eileen, hello. Robin, hello. Terry, hello. Terry and I have been in the DMs on Twitter. I hope you're feeling good today, Terry. And I hope you're healing up well. So how's everyone doing? It is kind of cloudy, kind of sunny here. So I'm not really sure what the light's gonna do. But for now we have just daylight in the windows, and it appears my camera is working. So that's all that matters. Hello, June. Hello, 6 p.m. in Johannesburg. Well, happy evening to you as well. You're watching while you work from home. That is the only way to do things, right? Just a little bit of entertainment while you work from home, or try to get work done from home. So I figured we would have a little bit of a catch up. I was gonna do a video, but I was you know what? Let's just do a live stream. Let's just do a live stream. So I have a queue up of, oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, now I forgot. Mekinia? Okay, I'm hoping that's right. I'll queue up some of the questions I got in the community tab post, which I put up very shortly before I actually scheduled the live stream, or possibly the other way around. I don't remember which direction I went with that, but let's turn off the stream beats. I do love a stream beats moment though. I love that music. It's just like chill to put on while you're like working, just to get things done. Okay, let me know in the comments, in the chat, if you like work, if you do clicky clacky or you're doing any kind of work. Clicky clacky is what I call like keyboard work, you mean like computer work. Or if you're like doing other things like drawing or housework or anything like that, organizing. Whether or not you put music on in the background and what kind of music you put on. I happen to I get overstimulated by like classical music. So I normally put on like very like lo-fi chill beats. If I'm feeling like I need extra inspiration, I'll put the Nintendo lo-fi on. I like to say Nintendo because it like gives me a little bit of that extra like boost. But if I just like need to get something done, I'm like lo-fi. Because then it's not like too overstimulating and it's just like, but it's something in the background. I used to put on like videos of people talking about stuff, but like I cannot. I get so into it because like and it's so distracting. So let's see. Rob says, do shows or YouTube videos because music you end up getting distracted. You're like the opposite of me. So Bridget puts on organizing YouTube in the background. That is the best. That is the best. Amanda, hello. Hello. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. You watch ASMR clean with me. You know what? I need to get into that. I need to get into watching it and possibly creating some ASMR cleaning because I think that would be super satisfying. That would be very satisfying. I actually am considering a very like chill, and this is something that was given to me as an idea from a sponsor I work with, who will go unnamed, I guess, but like they suggested, and I thought it was a really good idea, that I do like a very chill, relaxing ASMR like packing video and just see how it goes. Because I love packing. Y'all know I love a good suitcase moment. I love a tab pack in your backpack. I love it. I love putting things in other things and then putting them and making them fit. So like, wouldn't that be fun? Would that be a fun video? I don't know. I would try it. I could try it. I am in the 2024 experimental era. And so we're trying things. Sometimes they fail. Sometimes they do well. So who knows? Who knows? Foo Fighters and Beyonce. Nice. We love that. Love that. Nice. Oh, clean with me. See, it's the clean with me's that like people love. You know what? I mean, it's probably a good idea for me to ask you anyway what you want to see, because like I don't know. So like a clean with me, probably a really good idea. Let me know. HGTV in the background. You know what? That's good too. I love an HGTV show in the background, especially if they're like doing renovations or if they're like selling a property. I love that. I love HGTV is like my guilty pleasure. I mean, it's not guilty, but like I just love watching people like deliberate over like wallpaper and like floor refinishing. I just think that's the greatest. I do like when my daughter practices marimba in the background. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is amazing. Marimba is does she have a big marimba? Or is it like one of those normal sized, I guess, marimbas? Because this weekend I was in a concert and we had like the largest, thank you, Shmoo. We had the largest, I'm going to put your comment on the screen because it's true. The largest percussion section I've ever seen in a long time. It was like the whole back of the stage, percussion instruments. One of the dudes playing marimba here, vibraphone here. He had a drum set. He was running all around trying to like do everything. And the marimba was like massive. The thing was enormous. And then he would like play the marimba and then like run really fast to play the drums. It was wild. 3 she's a percussionist, but marimba is her main. So she's a marimba girl. We love that. I love that. I love a marimba though. It seemed to be so satisfying. Like, cause you get that like bang on something and make a tone, but it's also like wood, so it's like warm feeling. I don't know. Modest Placebo, hello. How are you doing? So glad you're here. You're down for an ASMR packing video? All right, I might just have to make it. Paper Mario, hello. All right, let's get into it because we have 48 minutes left on the live. And between this live, which ends at 1 p.m. and 2 p.m., we have to eat lunch because at 2 p.m., we're going live on Katie's and we're going to play Endless Ocean. So if you like are needing some relaxation, chill time, we're going to be virtually like scuba diving on the gaming channel. So, I mean, that sounds like a good time to me. So anyway, so the first question I got in my comments section on my community tab was, can you talk more about living organizing with a musician? How can we keep gear and instruments on display instead of tucked away? So I think this is a very broad question. So like organizing, living with a musician, from this question, I assume you're not the musician. I assume that you're the companion and you're living with the musician. I don't, well, it depends on the instruments. Because if it's a piano, it's just out, right? Like that's just, I can't put that away. But if let's say if it's a guitar, or something a little larger like a cello, it has to stay out. Or if it's like many instruments, like let's say it's like a clarinet and a trumpet, and a piccolo, you can definitely display them. But if your companion or whoever, or you are an active musician, you're probably more likely to use a case just to prevent the dust damage to, especially like, I don't know, not dust damage, but like just having to clean off some instruments. I always have a keyboard cover on that just so I don't have to like deal with dust. So the first part really depends on the type of musician. Display is definitely a possibility. I think more with guitars and things like that. I feel like less with instruments such as like violins and flutes and things like that. But with sheet music, I definitely think that you have more of a wiggle room to like display it. Again, I'm not a big fan of like seeing the spines of my music because they're all different colors. And that's like too much stimulation for me. So I'm a big fan of the magazine files. So like you can see through the tops, that's not a big deal, but like it's all one cohesive color, and I just separate the by volumes or like ways that work for me. So like one says opera, one says like German songs, there's like French songs, and just the ways that separate for me. I have 2 dedicated to Bach because I have mostly Bach up at the top there, because that's what I am mostly hired to do, and real talk, it's what I like the best. So it keeps everything from looking too nuts. But I would also maybe consider dedicating a specific space to music making. That way, it's a twofold benefit. Okay, so when you dedicate a certain space to music making, whether it's a corner or an entire room, you get the benefit of being able to tuck away if the person you're, I guess, dealing with, the musician you're dealing with, is a little bit more chaotic or messy, which is like a trait that a lot of artistic people have. It's not necessarily like mutually exclusive, but it tends to occur. And also, if you have your music making space in a specific place, you as the musician can get in a mindset that is where the practice happens. And that when you go in there, you may have it's like it builds a really nice association, which I think that I feel like now I'm going off on a tangent. I feel like in the age of smartphones, we've removed some of the associations of spaces in our homes, and it's become more ambiguous. So like a lot of people have trouble sleeping now because they have their cell phone with them all the time, and they're like not only sleeping in bed, but they're like playing games, they're watching Netflix, they're texting, they're like writing emails. And so you get into a space mentally where like you can't separate the space where you're supposed to be sleeping from the space you're supposed to be working. So I think that we have to be very conscious of creating strong associations with parts in our home. You know, like the kitchen is for cooking, possibly watching TV. I don't know. I don't care. As long as you are able to use your home functionally. My headphones just gave up the ghost. I think if I don't hear audio for a while, they just turn off. But anyway, building up the good association with a particular space in your home can help you be more productive and more prone to like use that space in that way. Like real talk, I don't play this keyboard very often. I don't. I'm not good at it, but the fact that I've set up my little practice space there helps me to like when I sit down to actually practice. And so, I mean, we're plunking out single notes at a time, but it's there to use as a motivation, and that's where I practice. Otherwise, other parts of my home, I'm not prone to practice. Anyway, that is a very long answer to a very vague sort of question. But maybe we could talk, we could talk about more specific solutions. Any more organization things in the future? Of course, we're not quitting. We're not quitting. And I will come back to, I will rewind and come back to the questions after we've gone through them. There are about 12. But I am looking sort of, okay. Next is, what are some tips and tricks to staying organized when taking care of a loved one? And I apologize for not including the usernames of the people here. I just kind of copied and pasted. I'm going to give you the same advice I give to everyone who is trying to get organized in any way, no matter what you're doing, is to make things easy for you and everyone around you to maintain the system that you set up. So it depends on the abilities. If you're organizing just for you, then you only have you to think about. And I think about this when my mother was taking care of my father. And I really wanted her to make sure that things were easy for her to like take out and put away. And make sure that things were easy for my father to take out and put away if he needed to. And that is really the only like recommendation I have. It's a keep it simple, sweetie, kind of solution. I don't want to overcomplicate it at all for anyone. But the path of least resistance is where you want to concentrate your organizing efforts. And sometimes it doesn't always look great. And that is like what a lot of people don't talk about when they talk about professional organizing, is that like the path of least resistance is the most successful, but it doesn't always look great. Like when I go to people's houses and I'm organize their closet, the after often doesn't look much more aesthetically pleasing than the before. It's just easier for the client to use and makes the client happier and makes their life easier. I personally am there to help them. I'm not there to like make an Instagram post. So, and that's really hard for people to accept on social media, because it's really tempting to try and make your space look as good as it functions. And they're not always, mutually exclusive, I guess is the term I'm looking for. So, if you want to get to that sweet spot where it like looks amazing and functions amazing, that's totally fine. But I'm going to warn you that it doesn't always work that way. So just keep it simple. Don't try to overcomplicate it, especially if your loved one is either having cognitive challenges and physical challenges. Well, I guess that would be the definition of probably why you need to care for them. So Next, I would love any ideas on minimizing home decor and the balance of wanting to purchase and renew decor and furniture versus staying minimal and keeping and being content with what we have. Okay, so twofold. I have two opinions about this, two differing opinions. So my first opinion is from. Do I have two differing opinions? I don't know if I do. I might have just one opinion. Okay. So my opinion is that if you want to minimize home decor and you want to like, it sounds like you want to undercomplicate your own process. Like you want to stay on top of decorating and changing out decor, but you don't want to acquire so much that you can't keep track of it. And I get that. Toy, you're welcome. I think that this is the best thing you can do for yourself is to get rid of or pass on or rehome the decor that you're no longer in love with, is your style, is trendy for you personally. And trends are something people can choose to follow or not follow. It's very personal. For me personally, I found that because I wasn't into home decor in the past, I would acquire, like a couple of things and like keep reusing them for different homes. And now that I'm more interested in having my home reflect who I am as a person, and I'm interested in home decor trends and changing out decor, I am now actively buying new decor, but then being like, well, if I need to make sure, A, I can keep track of this collection, and B, that I like what I have. So there is a fine line between keeping it curated and giving yourself the freedom to let go of the things that aren't trendy anymore or don't bring you joy anymore, and not feeling guilty about purchasing new items. Because purchasing in itself or like curating your collection is not inherently bad, especially when we're talking about home decor. It just makes sure it doesn't get to a point where you can't keep track of it. You can't inventory it. So I think if you can limit yourself within a certain amount of square footage or a container, that's a good method to keep yourself in check. That's what I do, because if I can't fit it in the bin, then I have to get rid of something and I have to like change it out to something else. But like it's weird. It's like clothes, right? I went into a whole period of my life where I was like, well, I don't need new clothes. I'm just not going to buy any more clothes. But clothes wear out and they don't always reflect who you are as you grow older or as your tastes change, whatever. And so it's the same thing with clothes. Like in order to bring new things into your wardrobe that you will love and wear and feel like reflect you as a person, you need to get rid of the ones that don't anymore. And I feel like it's the same thing with home decor. So keep as many as you need to that you can keep track of. That varies from person to person. But the stuff that you get rid of or don't like anymore needs to cycle out. My parents never did this. They like kept everything. It was crazy. Oh, you found an Evie Tree hoodie. I'm so glad, because that company is going out of business. And that makes me really sad. It makes me so sad. So I hope that answer was good. Okay, next. I'm trying to like power through some of these. I'm also caffeinated. So we love that for me. I'm caffeinated because I didn't have time to eat breakfast I was at the dog park before this. So I was like, I'll just have some coffee and then we'll like a lovely lunch between like this stream and the next stream. So I'm all caffeinated. Best ways to get spouse involved in decluttering. Also putting things back in their proper place. Whoever there is an open space, something gets put there that doesn't belong. Okay. So my advice, if you are looking to get family members, spouse, children on board, is there are 2 steps that need to be taken before you expect them to do anything. 1, you need to set expectations. Not set expectations, but explain what your standard is and how you can meet it or come close to meeting it, and B, set a good example. So if I'm talking to my husband about like, hey man, I'll say, and I always go, hey man, I say, I really want to make sure that communal spaces that we both use, are welcoming for everyone. And it's really hard for me to use the living room if like your things are all over the couch or whatever. And it's totally fine to have, if I'm not there, to like take your stuff and put it everywhere, set up your whole computer. But I would appreciate it if after you're done, you could put it away. And also be prepared for some compromises. So like, I don't expect my husband to be at the same level that I am at, as far as being organized in a physical way in the house. I can only hope to serve to be a good influence. And sometimes if like the dishes are left undone or like something's not been put away, in order to make myself happy, I will pick it up. I will pick it up and put it away and let him know. I'm like, hey, I picked up your socks. I put them in the hamper. Hope that's cool. And just accept that that's part of to protect your own peace. And then willing to meet, like help your family get there, but like also expect to compromise a little, either in what your tolerance is, or accept that you may get involved in some actual like picking up of the space. I always find that the like crap bin, a place where you can like have your family members throw stuff when they are done with it, but don't want to either take it upstairs or take it downstairs or take it to their room. You can throw it in the bin, and that does two things. It gets it off the floor, because y'all know how I feel about stuff on the floor. It's the worst. Like, get it off the floor. And it gives them like a place to like take it and carry it to their space. Especially this works really well with children, I find. I mean, I don't have any experience with it, but I have experience implementing it in other people's spaces, and hearing their experiences with this method is like each child has their like crap bin. They don't call it the crap bin. There's just like their stuff bin. And like if they're playing with toys downstairs and like it doesn't get put away, the parents can like throw it in there, or they can throw it in there. And if they don't have time to take it upstairs right away, it's still there, but they can like carry it all the way upstairs. And then after they're done, they can, bring it back downstairs. So it just gets stuff off the floor. Two women, hello from Seekonk, Mass. Where is that? Wait, hold on. Let me look it up. I've never heard of that. I love the names of Massachusetts towns because it's always some like, they always are very fun. Ooh. Oh, Seekonk. Very cool. Very cool. Ooh, these pictures look pretty. These pictures look so pretty. I want to go there. It looks really pretty. All right, I'll check it out. Love it. Love it. There's so many really pretty towns in Massachusetts. I lived here for like 25 years almost. It might be more than that. Anyway, and have not been to like most of the cool towns. And that's real sad. Okay. Next. Organization tips for crafting. This is very vague. I'm going to make it huge. I'm going to make it so big. But I'm going to give some like general advice for crafters when it comes to organization of your stuff. So the crafting, I feel my main piece of advice is to, if you are a crafter, make sure you're actively engaged and interested in your craft. I know that like people that craft, and I am one of them, I do like little different things. I don't craft as much as I used to, but you can tend to get involved in like 40 different iterations of that craft and like offshoots of that. Like if you paint, oh, also you might sculpt a little bit, and then you're knitting, and oh, you want to draw a little bit, and oh, I might get involved in like oil paints, but also watercolors. Make sure that there are enough things to do that you can keep track of, but not too many. And that you're actively engaged in like being interested in those activities, because it's very distracting. It's very exciting to have like a lot of different things to possibly do. But I would advise you to keep that down to a minimum, because there's like some crafts can get really out of control. Like I know the people that knit or crochet have like a lot of yarn, and it's very tempting to buy yarn when you're out. Because I know I used to, well, don't do it a lot anymore, but I still do it sometimes, like make beaded jewelry. And the temptation to buy beaded jewelry when you like pass a bead store is really strong. So I have like stopped actively buying new craft materials, but trying to use the ones I have. But there is something satisfying about like bringing new craft materials or like seeing the ones you have. I would focus on organizing what you have and like planning some projects for it. And there's many different organization methods that are like so fun for everyone. Some people love drawers, some people love shelves, some, be it bins, whatever works for you. But I actively want to encourage you to like focus on not buying new things, but making sure that you use the things that you already have. And when you do need new supplies, it will be incredibly satisfying to pick them up. But yeah, and that maybe more is about a behavior than it is about a method. Because this is very broad. It really depends on the craft. Because like if you are, making pottery, you're going to have a lot more different challenges than if you're doing scrapbooking. So, but just be mindful of like how much you're getting into, because crafting, it can spiral out of control. And again, I am as guilty as anyone on like, I want to do all the things and all the different things. Okay, next, how to let go of and not feel guilty about get rid of a loved one of things that has passed away. This is the hardest thing to do for most people. And the only advice I have for you, because it's hard for me as well, being a sentimental human being, just like anyone else, is to realize and to actively think that the person's belongings feel like an extension of them, but really is not. And it is a natural thing to feel like items that belong to someone we loved are an extension of them. It is not something that is like, it's inherently human. It's part of our attachment style that we have. Like like when you were a little child and you had a stuffed animal that you liked or a blanket that you really liked. Some people say that this comes from when you start to sleep away from your parents and you need something to sort of take the place of that parental body feel or that company, and you put that attachment on either a stuffed animal or blanket or something else. And this is sort of the way that we cope with loss and feel comfort. So the guilt of passing on these items or rehoming these items is something that is inherently human. And I understand that it feels bad to get rid of like loved ones, like clothes, their collections, their whatever. But those items are not them. They were manufactured. Some of them, even if they were like made by them, they're not them. The person who passed, who was part of your life, lives in you, in here, and not in, a tube of lotion or a shirt. And it is really hard to get rid of items that were close to that person without feeling like you're throwing part of them away, but you're not. And sometimes it helps, and this is kind of a morbid thought, but sometimes it helps to think about your own belongings and like how much they're not you, they're just stuff you have. And that you wouldn't want your loved ones to like hold on to your lint roller because it was a lint roller that you had, right? If they needed it, then definitely use it if you were gone. But I think that sentimental items, a few are definitely okay to keep. And, but keeping so many that you can't keep track of them or that it's burdening you is not helpful to you. And probably wouldn't make your loved one very happy as well. So, I wouldn't say stop feeling guilty, but realize that that is a normal, natural feeling and that your memory of them is a lot more of a closer connection than something that they owned they didn't create it. But I will acknowledge that that is very difficult and that, you're not alone. So, next, can you please film a house tour? I can. I won't until it's done. So I have many, many plans to like redo parts of the home that I have not done yet, like this office being one of them. So when it is close to complete, I promise I will. We're probably talking closer to like the end of summer, but don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. Oh, I messed up. Oh, stop it, Kay. All right, next. I watched your surgery video from 3 years ago. Since I have huge fibroids, and this is not about organizing, but we'll talk about it anyway. Do you have additional suggestions or tips that they didn't make in that video? Also, please send the courage vibes. Well, you got this. The only additional tips I have are be prepared. If you're having the surgery, you're having a hysterectomy. That's a much more of a serious surgery, more invasive than the laparoscopic procedure I had. I just want to encourage you to make sure before you do it, make sure that you're all like set with either get help from someone or be prepared to like have someone prepare and help you. Because like you're going to need to rest if you're having laparoscopic surgery, you're prepared to rest for like a week. That's pretty much it. I mean, you'll be in pain for like a couple weeks, but you'll be able to like get up after a week or so. The other thing I want to tell is that, you're having a hysterectomy, so this is not a concern for you. Well, first of all, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be great. You'll be Gucci. You'll be golden. You won't even know. The anesthesia works really well. They'll ask you to count back from 10. You won't make it. It'd be like 10, 9, and then you'll wake up in the recovery room. You'll feel great. The other thing I have to tell you, if for people who aren't having complete hysterectomies or hysterectomy and are just having the fibroids removed, if you have a strong family history, they may return, which in my case they did. I didn't do an update video. They returned. I started having symptoms again. I started having really heavy periods. I'm sorry if you're like not here to hear about periods, but we're talking about life. And so instead of having another procedure, I changed out the IUD I had. I had local hormonal IUD, which stopped the heavy bleeding. I also had the fibroid removed at the same time. I guess they went in a very less invasive way. There were no incisions. You can do the math on that. But that helped a ton. And so that's all I got to say about that. But that was I mean, if you have that treatment option, I would say pursue it. It's much less invasive and I am able to live a normal life now. Pre-surgery and coming up to my other procedure, my life was very abnormal around moon time. So if you have fibroids and you're going through kind of a time where you can't live normally around moon time, that's another option. I didn't know that was an option, and I had a very good doctor who did that for me. So next, I remember this. I think you're in the chat, actually. Many older people, much of whose lives were lived before the digital age, have retained hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of letters on paper. Mine are filed in 10 four-drawer file cabinets. I want to say goodbye to them, shred and discard. Some date back from 1948 and include letters from loved and long-dead family and friends. Any advice? That is, you know what? I come across this a lot, and you know, my husband has the same mentality. Is that like, oh my God, I have all this like correspondence, and I don't want to get rid of it. And it's tough. What I did, I mean, I am a child of the 80s, and so I'm one of those Zennials who had half of their life be analog and half of their life was digital. So I had a bunch of letters and things that I didn't want to really get rid of. And I digitized what was important to me and just let go of everything else. I didn't want to give myself the mental burden of holding on to all of that stuff. So I had, you know, pen pals. I had written dozens of pages of like fan fiction. I'm not even joking. That I was like, well, I would love to hold on to this, but I don't know if I have the capacity, like mental capacity to read it. So I'm just going to upload it to the cloud. And it took it took time, but I did it. So like save what's most important to you. And if something is important enough for you to revisit, you can save it. I'm not like against saving things, but you have to decide what is important enough to save. So the filing cabinet's worth of documents is going to be a lot to go through. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I don't sugarcoat stuff like that. So like you're going to have to take small chunks of time and start to go through it. It's one of those things where like you look at the task and you're like, well, hell, how am I going to get through all that? And the answer is you're not going to get through it all in the time that because in like, you know, a short period of time, because it didn't appear over a short period of time. So it's going to take some time. What do you mean by digitized? So I personally scanned everything, created PDFs that I could then upload to a cloud and revisit it that way. So I personally use like, where are they now? Where are they living? Evernote? I think that's where they're living. I can pull them off and just, you know, put them on not a disc. What year is it? Like a hard drive somewhere where I can get at them. I literally was about to say disc because all I can see now is like floppy disk. You know, like remember those big floppy disks? They were like this big. They had the little like thing right there and round. Y'all remember that? And then there were like the small ones, you know? And then there were the round ones that were like, they look like CDs, but you could store information. I don't miss that. I do not miss that. I don't miss like having to like organize all of those different like things to like store information. What a pain in the ass. You had to label everything. Bro. Like I am so glad I can like just upload something to a cloud and search for it and find it. That's how I saved all of my old recordings from when I was a kid. Every now and again when I'm feeling bad about myself, I like go and listen to those recordings and I'm like, yeah, I was silly back then too. Yes, Calliope, thank you so much. You beat me to it. If you don't have a scanner, just use your phone with Genius Scan. Genius Scan is My favorite. I actually use Genius Scan all the time. And the app looks like, look, oh my gosh, you can't even see it. Looks like my face is in the way. Anyway, Genius Scan. Genius Scan's my favorite. I think there's probably like newer apps that are possibly better, but I love Genius Scan because you can just upload right from Genius Scan and you're done. I think you'd have to pay for it. It might be a one-time payment, but like that was like I paid for it like years ago. So long. So, yes, and Bridget is right too. Some copy shops will scan your stuff and charge you per box. If you really want to like have it be, if it's too much, you know, because sometimes it's too much. I'm not even good. I never want to shame anybody from like overwhelm or like humaning, because humaning is just something that is true for everyone. And like sometimes I don't have the wherewithal or like motivation to take something to the Goodwill or to like post it on the everything free. And sometimes I'm like, just come and take it. Just come and take the thing or like do the thing for me, you know? So there's no shame in that. If it gets the thing done, it gets the thing done. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I think that might be it. That might be all the questions. So let me go back. Hello, everyone coming in the chat. Hello. Good to see you here. I love you very much. Paintball Sue puts on Etta James. I love that. French cooking music? What is that? Do I need to like get into that? French, will it make me feel like Julia Child? Because that might be a vibe. That might be a vibe. I love Julia Child. Oh my gosh. I don't. I should though, because I'm I guess I'm still a Blackhead. All the ladies in their 40s are like Blackheads, right? I love a good New Kids on the Block moment. I miss the New Kids on the Block. Well, I mean, they're still around. It's not like they're like not doing stuff, but like, you know, I don't have time to like listen to new music anymore. Too busy. Jane, let's see. Off topic. I'm having the thing of procrastinating work in my choir music. Oh, and your brain is, when you just want to, when you got to practice, but you're like, oh, you know, not yet. This is not the answer you want to hear. You just got to sit down. You just got to make a date with yourself. You're like, oh, I got to practice my music, you know, because I don't want to look like a jerk. And this happened to me a couple weeks ago, right? I was really busy with a couple of other different musical projects that required my attention, more of my attention than the other thing. But the other thing that I was like not working on was actually really difficult. And I would go to rehearsal and I'm like, I can't sight read this. So I was like, I need to practice, but I don't, And the only thing that helped is for me to like make a date with myself. I'm like, 2:00 today. I got to practice. And full disclosure, it was the Zonstrom Messiah. It's a new piece. The concert's done. It's done. I'm probably never going to sing it again. Wow. It was just the tessitura was so high. It's like it was a lot. But I sat down and for like an hour, and you don't even need to give yourself very long. An hour, I sat down and practiced. It was like 70% better after that. I was like, oh, I got this. So the only solution I have is to make a date with yourself and just sit your ass down and do it. Give yourself an hour. And after an hour, you can do anything you want. Or you can give yourself a reward. Sometimes rewards make me feel really good. Or there's good motivation. I'm a reward kind of person. So like if I'm like, oh, if I practice for an hour, I can play Animal Crossing, you know, for 2 hours. let's go, you know? So I like to give myself rewards. Rewards are, I mean, maybe they say that's for children, but like, I'm a child. So, but aren't we all children? Like, real talk, I am the same person I was like 40 years ago. I'm not any different. What spaces are your favorite watch or others organize? Do I watch other organizing YouTubers? Sometimes, not a lot though. I'm gonna be honest, and I should. But my favorite spaces to watch are like kitchens because it's very satisfying. Because a kitchen is like really, sometimes it can be really challenging, and everyone's kitchen is different, and everyone has different stuff, and it's fascinating to me to watch people organize it. Fascinating. I love it so much. I love it so much. Let's see. What's next here? What's next? Going down the line here. I had to go way back, and I had to get in. And I think I'm caught up. I'm caught up. Oh, remember when zip drives seemed... Oh my God, remember that? Remember zip drives? Y'all. I mean, we come along. I am so glad. I have mixed feelings about cell phones, right? Mixed feelings. Because, like, I love that I have a computer in my pocket. That's amazing. But I also hate that this can do pretty much anything I need it to do at any time. And it's annoying to have this all the time available. Like, I had to send an invoice today. I did it in the car. And I was like, do I need to do this? Like, while I'm a passenger in the car with my husband driving? Probably not. So, like, I have mixed feelings about, like, where we are right now. It's the future. It is the future. But I don't always want to be in the future. Sometimes I want to be analog. I turn my phone off sometimes. Michelle, hello. Hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yes. ADHD rewards. We got a confirmation here. Now, I've not been diagnosed as ADHD, and I don't think I have it. But rewards are like sometimes the only thing that work for me as motivation. Sometimes it's more of like a stern internal talking though. And be like, what are you doing? Just sit down and do the thing. Especially if it takes like less than 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, just do it. And then you won't have to do it later. Here's another thing trick I use on myself is that I have said this a bunch of times, that I am inherently like lazy. I like to choose the path of least resistance. And I do things for the benefit of my future self. So future K does not have to make the bed because present K is doing it. And future K is going to sit on the couch and play video games. So future K, I got future K's back all the time. I say, girl, I'm like, I got you. We're going to make the bed right now. So the future K can chill. All I want to do is chill. So like, I'm always like, when can I chill? After I do the thing. So future K, I got you. I'm your girl. Present K is doing all the things that future K doesn't have to do. I am future K's best friend. Sometimes I'm not. You love a food restocking video? I love it too. We're going to talk about the restocking videos in the future though. I have feelings. They are so satisfying to watch. The restocking videos. And this is more of a TikTok thing than it is a YouTube thing. Like long form. I don't see a lot of like long form like restocking content. But on the TikToks, I see a lot of the restocking content, and it is both satisfying and like very unnecessary. Like it's just not helping. It's not it. But is it inherently harmful? I don't think, but we'll talk about it. We will talk about it. We will talk about it. Okay, we have recommendations. All right, I'll have to watch it. Take a note. This is the best video. Take a note. Oh, I'm glad it helps. I'm so glad it helps. Focus mate. A great cycle. Oh, all right. Listen, we're giving the tips. We're giving the tips. I love that. Let's see what else is going on here. You did one food restock video? How did it go? Was it good? I'm very satisfied like watching people put things in containers. Like it's inherently satisfying. Some of the restock videos are just people buying stuff and putting it in places. So like there's the restock videos which I love, which are like people like I guess restocking their kitchen and stuff when they're all out. And then there's like the one I have the issue with the most, and this is just personal, is like people buying entire drawers worth of candy. I just have an issue. I'm like, what are you doing? Do you need? And it'd be like big. Like they've got all the different shapes of packaging. You know, they have space for like just 3 bags of M&Ms and like 2 Snickers and Kinder Eggs and maybe like not Pez, but like other things. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, are you okay? Like I want to know how long it takes you to go through it. Because I hope it's a long time. And if it's not, are we okay? But that's just me. That's just me. It's not Halloween like all year. It's not. Is there a trick to organize walk-in closets? I think the trick to organize walk-in closets, I feel like I've talked about this before, is to realize that not every space is usable in a walk-in closet. So like, let's say, I feel like the threshold in designing a lot of walk-in closets, I'll say this really quick and then I have to go. In designing walk-in closets, I discovered that there's depth, which is front to back, and there's width, which is side to side. I've discovered that a width of like 5 feet and a depth of like 5 feet or more is okay for like putting solution on both sides of like these walls and also the front wall. But anything smaller can feel really claustrophobic if there's like solution on both sides. And by solution, I mean like shelves and hanging. If it's too small, then that side, I'm gonna just put this as like the non-shelving side, can be used for like hooks and stuff. But I feel like walk-in closets people want to utilize every single square inch of that space. And what people don't understand is that those spaces, sometimes the corners of those spaces are not accessible no matter how you design it. And that those spaces are for like long hang or like things you don't use all the time, or like suitcases. If there happens to be like a corner where like 2 shelving areas meet like this, that little space in the middle is not going to be like very easy to use. And that I feel like people try to fill the space with too many items, and they try to like be too efficient in this is like any closet space actually. And I worked in closet design for like 6 or 7 years, and I've dealt with hundreds of people, and everyone has the same disease when they're like trying to like get everything they can out of every inch. And I always tell people, I'm like, let it go. I'm like, if it doesn't go, like if the entire shelving, like if you have like an inch on each side or a couple inches on each side, you're not going to get like 10x time the benefit if you like stretch it out to like the whole space. do what works for like either the shelving system or your own personal space. I mean, if you're like custom making, you can do whatever the heck you want. But I say don't try to like over optimize closet spaces because it's a closet. It's dynamic. You're putting stuff in, you're taking it out. And so, clothing is, again, part of your life where you're like, maybe you need to buy a new dress or maybe you need to get rid of 40 pairs of socks because you have too many. If you try to overutilize every single inch, you're not going to have room to be flexible. So that is what I have to say about that. Y'all are talking about wild stuff in the chat. My husband puts his candy bars in the freezer. You know what? I heard that's actually good. Tried it. I think, wasn't there is it like a frozen Snickers kind of moment where it's like good? I don't know how you would break a tooth on that though, wouldn't you? Break a tooth. I love a Snickers though, not gonna lie. All right, friends, I need to get off here because we're gonna have some lunch and then we're gonna do some scuba diving. So if you want to hang out with us in about an hour, I will link the gaming channel in the chat right now because I'm such a good streamer. Check me out. Oh my God. Boom. We're hanging out there. We're playing some Endless Ocean. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for hanging out. And I hope you guys got some good inspiration and are kind to yourselves today because you should be kind to yourself every day. All right, friends, I will see you in a few. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to use my stream deck here. It's different buttons. Okay, bye.